Joining us, founder and CEO of Independent Veterans of America and host of the Independent Here I Am podcast, Paul Rieckhoff, and Jake Sherman, who's still with us. The camera was tired of hearing me talk. Jake, give us your reporting.
Yeah, listen, Democrats are drubbing Republicans in fundraising. I mean, across the board. And it's not only in the House, in competitive seats in the House where Democrats are outraising their Republican opponents. Look at the Senate. I mean, Jon Ossoff has raised more than, I forget what the exact number is, more than $10 million. James Tallarico in Texas, 14. James Tallarico in Texas, $27 million compared to John Cornyn, $9 million. And that's if you're very forgiving with how you count his money. Roy Cooper, almost $14 million. Sherrod Brown, 12.5. Mary Peltola, almost $9. I mean, this is obscene money. And listen, both sides, there's two ways to look at this. This shows that they have more money, they're going to be able to spend more money, et cetera. Yes, that's true. There's going to be a lot of money in this race, but this shows, Katie, the enthusiasm behind Democratic candidates and the base. And that's something we've seen in polls, too. The enthusiasm gap is gigantic right now.
But does it show enthusiasm among the voters who are voting in those constituencies, or is this outside money?
It's a little bit of both. This isn't a race about who could get to $10 million quicker. They have to run smart races focused on the issues that matter, not on nonsense, and then they can win races. And listen, Republicans have had recruiting misses in Georgia, in a bunch of places. They've not gotten the candidates that they want, so that's a problem for them. And Democrats have a slate of pretty decent candidates, especially in Georgia with Jon Ossoff. So, and in on the House side, it's remarkable how much money Democrats are raising. You know, the only thing that will prevent this, according to the people we talk to up here, that will prevent this from being a gigantic wave is the country's so gerrymandered. So it's tough to get to 40 seats or 50 seats like you used to be able to get to in a wave. But, you know, right now, you'd rather be a Democrat than a Republican. But the only poll that matters is election night.
What did Mitch McConnell say? Candidate quality matters, and this could be a case of that. Jake, I know you have to go to votes. Thank you so much for being with us. I appreciate it. All right, Paul, I can feel your pushback. I know your pushback. Your pushback is when you flood the zone with a bunch of Democratic money from liberal places like California or New York or big cities, and you put it into places that are Republican, you alienate voters.
I have a different pushback.
No?
There's way too much damn money in politics, period.
Well,
right?
I mean, that's a given.
That's the big part of this.
Can you imagine if we took all of that money and, I don't know, put it into health care or Medicaid or not babysitting, child care, babysitting, child care.
Yeah, any of that. I mean, and there's also another side of this, which is all the dark money, which is where Republicans have had a huge advantage. Think about Elon Musk as an example. But look, I think there is definitely enthusiasm there. I think you're right. A lot of it is centered in places like California and New York that pump money into districts they think they can win and states they think they can win, like Texas. And they've been here many times before in places like Texas. There's also another story. There's money going into anybody who's not a Republican. That includes independents. And we talk about them at times. There are Senate candidates in particular who are doing very well in fundraising and competitive.
Did we have your guy up there?
Maybe you do. We've got Seth Bodnar in Montana. You've got Todd Achilles in Idaho. You've got Brian Bangs in South Dakota. You've got Dan Osborne in Nebraska, right? And they are folks that can win where Democrats can't. Democrats still have a big problem. Their brand popularity is actually below Donald Trump's, right? Especially in those places. So they've got to overcome that. And the way to do it is with better candidates. The way to do it is with money. But the way to do it is also, if you want to beat Donald Trump, is look at alternatives. And independents are those alternatives in states like Nebraska.
Allow those candidates to be themselves and not force them into the orthodoxy of the Democratic Party, right?
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. I think Democrats are going to do well if they run against the Democratic Party. I mean, you see the Democratic Party fighting within themselves. Ro Khanna today is asking for Schumer to be out. You can always count on the Democrats to eat their own. But I do think most people in this country want to see, including Democrats, want to see people who are going to change the system, who are going to change leadership, who are going to bring new ideas and toughness and strength. People are looking for toughness and strength. And the candidates that can do that without sounding way over the top like Pete Hegseth or Dana White are going to do well.
How do you feel about Dan Osborne this year?
I think he's got a great chance. I mean, people know who he is now. He's been raising money. He represents the working class. He's a Navy veteran, and he's got a chance to take out.
Is he running as an independent or a Democrat?
An independent.
Still.
Yeah, and the key is, will the Democrats leave it alone? Because what'll hurt him is if Democrats pour money in there and it looks like he's a Democrat. But he's an independent. He's not running as a Democrat. And I think it's an example of where an independent can win, where a Democrat can't. Nebraska is very different now. He came close last time. And if people support him and if independents and veterans come out, he can win.
We talk a lot about Texas. Every year we talk about Texas, or every special election we talk about Texas. Is Tallarico a better candidate than Beto?
I think so. I think especially because he can talk religion, and he's had a popular appeal that's crossed over in a way, and he's young, he's dynamic. Can he actually win as a Democrat in Texas? He's going to be the test case. He has to overcome the Democratic brand in Texas. It's a problem running as a Democrat in Texas, but he may be able to be good enough and charismatic enough and special enough to overcome it.
Would you advise him to run against the Democratic Party?
Absolutely. I advise everybody to run against both parties and run against everything, and run against Donald Trump, run against the government.
Against money in politics?
Yes, absolutely. Running against all. People feel like they're getting screwed, and they're right because the system is rigged. That's right.
They are.
Yeah, and they want people who will be the people's champion. If you stand with the people and you stand with your country and not with a party or a billionaire, you're going to do well.
The problem is, you vote for people and you get them into office and you expect them to change these laws, but the laws that got them into the office are the laws they want to keep because they want to keep getting into office. It is a bad cycle.
Yes.
All right, Paul Rieckhoff.
We can change it. We can change it. We got to keep fighting.
Term limits and getting rid of gerrymandering.
And campaign finance reform.
And, well, if you term limit, then you can campaign finance reform.
And open primaries. Open primaries are also key.
Open primaries as well. We've fixed it all.
There we go. Ta-da.
It's done. It's over. We've just solved all the world's problems.
We're done. The Middle East next time.
I don't want to touch that. Paul Rieckhoff, thank you so much.